We're ready to polish Godzilla.
Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm John.
And this is DIY Detail. Today we're going to be polishing and coating Godzilla, aka a 2016 GTR. Now we're going to be doing a two-step polish. First step, wool pad, gold standard polish. The second, C6 app. And then a ceramic coating. Stick around, let's get to polishing. If you look in the links below, you'll see where we cleaned and decontaminated this vehicle. You can watch that after this one. that's all done. Now that we've polished, the next step is to remove the polish residue. Now the reason we went with the wool pad, we wanted just a little more aggression, a little more deep cleaning, but we want to preserve as much paint as possible. This is original paint. The owner didn't want a lot of paint reduction, just get it glossy and preserve it. And that's what we're doing here. So by using the wool pad, we went quickly, we got the job done, it cleaned it up dramatically, and at the same time, we didn't remove too much material off the surface. Using a rinseless dampened towel, followed by a dry towel to easily lift off the polish residue. And yes, there's stone chips on the front end. That's part of being a track-driven car.
Well loved.
Yeah, well loved, well used, but maintaining that original paint. And if your shop is as humid as ours is today, you don't have to worry about it drying on the surface too much. Next step, applying the C6 app, the adhesion promoter polish. We're using this to finally deep clean the paint as much as we can, open up the pores, because the app actually swells the paint a little bit. And in doing so, makes it a lot easier to apply the coating, and the coating penetrates deeper into the paint. Using the waffle jeweling pad, 3 dots, all you need, not much. And you have to remember, we're applying the app, we're not polishing with it. The polishing we've already done. So a couple quick passes is all that's needed. We just want to make sure we get it everywhere on the surface. On a white vehicle, it's extremely difficult to see if you have app on your pad or not, because more is not better. One thing you can do is just take your pad to the window for a second, turn it off, and if you still see the polish that's there, like there, we don't need to add any more. We can keep going. When you're done, you want to clean your pad, spin it out. We'll be ready to use the next time. Final preparation before putting on the coating is removing the app. In doing so, I like a nice fluffy towel to do it, and it's just lightly going over the surface. The app should not be sticky, comes right off. What are some of the most commonly asked questions, John?
Some of the common questions we get about using the app would be, can you use the app before you use another company's coatings? Yeah, the app is actually going to be really great for a panel prep for any other coating. You can use it for the glass, you can use it for the paint, the trim, the wheels. It'll be safe on all those surfaces. Another question we get is why we want to use a lower throw polisher. So we really want to recommend using a 3 to 9 millimeter throw polisher, because using larger than that, like a 15 or 21, you do run the risk of actually overworking the product, overworking the app on the surface, which first of all, it may be a little bit more difficult to work with. You'll start to, it'll be more like a compound that's been overworked, kind of hard to wipe off that surface. But the main thing with that, using that 3 to 9 millimeter throw, is if you were to overwork it with those chemicals in there, you won't have as good adherence of the coating to that surface, negatively affecting the coating's durability. So sticking with that, about 5 millimeter is going to be the best situation for applying the app.
Yeah, we do R&D for a reason. And, we develop the instructions to make your lives easier. Follow the instructions, you'll have a lot of fun. Don't follow the instructions, could be a not so good a day. The other question we get about the app is, what pads can I use? Well, very simple, only one. The DIY red jeweling pad is the only one you should use. You do not want to use a flat pad, and you do not want to use a pad that's too stiff. The red jeweling pad works perfectly with this. It's been designed around it, so that is the one you definitely want to use. And one pad will get you probably at least 50 cars if you treat it properly.
Another question we get is, how long should you leave the app on that surface? So you can either wipe it off as you go, or like we did, wipe it all off at the end. There's no negative side effects of allowing it to sit longer, but there's no benefits of leaving it on there longer either. The main thing is you need to apply the ceramic coating within 24 hours of actually applying the app to the vehicle. I typically say, if you have time to apply the app, you should have time to apply that ceramic coating. So don't put the app on a Friday night, go home for the weekend, and come back on Monday and apply that ceramic coating then. Do them at the same time. Do them Monday morning.
It was a nice car when it came in, but much nicer now.
That pearl white really pops.
Yeah, and it's about to get even better. Finally, the coating application. We're going to be applying C6 Hydro Lite on this. Extremely hydrophobic, but very easy to use. And despite people saying that black cars are hard to detail, they're actually the easiest to coat. This is probably the worst color you could choose to coat. Now, not that it's a bad color, but if you've never coated a car before, you may want to start with a different color than pearl white. Pearl white hides everything when it comes to the coating application. So this is where being methodical becomes extremely, extremely important, and not over applying as well. Shake up your coating bottle just a little bit, and I'm going to start with 8 to 10 drops on the applicator. And now I know that I actually have too much on my applicator, but I want to spread it. I want to prime the applicator, for lack of a better term. In doing so, I'm going to start in the center of the hood and work my way to the edges. Once I have the pad primed, next panel that I go to, I'm actually going to do the edges first, box it in, then do the circular motion in the centers. Now this is where experience comes in, and it's about 95% feel at this point, because we can barely see the coating on the surface. So I have to go by feel when applying it. John has to go by feel when leveling. If the only car you're going to coat is a white car and you don't have experience coating, start on the windows. That will give you an approximation of flash time. Flash time is the time that it takes the coating to go from a liquid to what looks like an oil slick on water and then back to clear. When 50% of it has gone back to clear, that's when we level it. Now, John is going by experience and by feel to see how it feels.
When you're going to level it and you feel that the towel just slides across that surface, meaning it's extremely slick, that's how you know that it's going to be ready to level. If you put your towel down and you feel any resistance on that surface, just go ahead and let that coating flash a little bit longer. Let it cure on there a little bit longer before actually going for that initial leveling.
Inside the neck and duck as well, I did that. Now in the shop today is high humidity. Sylvie and John were joking that it's the first time they've seen me sweat, so it's a little warm in the shop. Being that it's warm and very humid, the coating is actually going to cure faster. So there are a few traces that we can see. They're very faint because of the pearl white. I'll do the A-pillar here, and you'll be able to see what we're talking about on this A-pillar, since it's a nice gloss black. So the coating goes on as a liquid, and then it eventually cross-links and becomes like an oil slick on water, and then goes back to being clear. Then at that point, we can level it. And we immediately see the gloss difference and the slickness. As I'm going along, I'm just putting 2 drops on the applicator. That's all that's needed. The roof, John.
You did
and
the
yeah.
You can't even see that he put it on there. That's why I had to ask Ivan if he did do the roof.
Yeah. So the app allows the coating to almost self-level, which is a fun characteristic of the app. But on a white car, it makes figuring out where we've applied it and where we haven't a little more difficult. So our communication skills need to be better when doing this. And here, I've done the sail panel down to the body line. We're doing the underside of the spoiler and where the spoiler lands on the fender. That way, we'll do the other side, be able to close it, and then do the rest of the vehicle.
As I come down to do this, I can feel that there's a little resistance in the leveling towel. So I'm just going to give it a little bit longer to actually set up. Perfectly slick, that's how you know it's ready.
If you want to really gauge your times, like we said before, start on the windows, and that will give you an idea how quickly or how slowly you need to level off the surface. Boxing in the surface and then coming back with circular motions, filling in the center. The reason we're doing circular motions, number of them. First of all, it's easier on your body than starting and stopping. Secondly, less chance of high spots. And finally, you actually use less coating this way. And less coating is not a bad thing. Too much coating is a bad thing. Trunk lid is a more intricate area to wipe off, so I'm gonna give John a breather. I'm not gonna push him or try to pull him with me. Application sometimes is a little faster depending on where you are, so we'll let him do that. And then once he's ready, communicates that with me, I'll start moving down the side of the vehicle.
You're good to go.
Okay. So in doing this fender, we've already done the hood. I'm gonna make sure to actually overlap onto the hood as I'm doing this. I'm doing the headlight at the same time. I'm going past this onto the bumper just a little bit, and then working my way back the vehicle. Making sure to get all the trim. And again, I'm overlapping onto the door, making sure that we get absolutely everything covered. And as I'm moving back on the vehicle, 2 drops every time. When you're watching this, we may have switched to our new bottles. And in doing so, the little stopper in them is just a little smaller. So you might need 3 drops. And we'll insert a picture here comparing the two. If you have the large one, 2 drops. If you have the smaller one, go to 3 drops. So front of the door and including the mirror as I'm going by.
Oh,
Good catch, good catch. In my applicator, there's always a little bit of coating left to make sure that we're not wasting anything and making sure we're making the customer happy as well. We'll apply what's left on the window. Now, at this point, it's the only time where we apply a bit of pressure to the applicator, and that's just to get the excess coating out of it. There's very little of it, but it's more than enough to do the windshield. And on the glass, you have to level just a little quicker.
when you're applying the ceramic coating to the glass, you want to make sure to level it a little bit faster. To ensure you don't leave high spots on your customer's vehicle.
Or on your own.
Or on your own vehicle.
Start at the windshield and working my way back. Haven't added any more to the applicator. We've got all these windows done, and for the back window, I'm just gonna press down on the applicator, and you can see there's a little bit of coating left in it. That's enough to do this window. When you're done with the applicator, put it in your wash bucket, let it hang out there for 15 or 20 minutes, and be good to use again.
And with that, this vehicle has been washed, decontaminated, paint enhancement, and a ceramic coating applied. The final thing to do is shine the tires.
And while John is doing that, there's another video you might want to watch right around here.